Okay, this is week 12. In this chapter, we will discuss backup and restore in Windows Server 2019. Bismillah. Okay, so why do we need to back up the data? Why do we need to do backup? In case something is deleted by mistake or we need to use the data later on. Okay, so we need to back it up. All right, so it needs to be protected from being lost. So we do backup. Okay. So you back up the data. When you want to use it, you restore it. So we have backup, then we have restore. There are different types of backup. We have full backup. This makes a copy of all of the data. Okay. And to restore your data, you only require that the last set of full backups to be restored. Okay. This is called full backup. The other one, the second type is incremental backup. This makes a copy of the data that has changed since the last backup. Okay, so I did backup, full backup. Then next time, I don't need to do full backup again. I will do incremental, only to the files that has changed, regardless of the file type. So incremental backup are done from Monday to Thursday, and on Friday, the full backup is done. And to restore your data, you need the last set of full backups and all of the sets of incremental backup. So with incremental backup, it takes less time to do the backup, but when you want to restore, it takes more time. Because you have to do restore of the full backup, then you have to do restore of the small changes that happen. Another type is called the third type is called differential backup. This type of backup makes copy of the data that has changed since the last full backup. Okay? Same way like incremental backup. And differential backup is done from Monday to Thursday, and on Friday the full backup takes place. Okay? And to do the restore, you will need also to do the last set of backups and the last set of incremental backups. Same thing here. It takes more time to restore, but it is faster to back. Okay. The difference between differential and backup, there is differences also in the type of files. Okay. We will talk about this later. Okay. Now, where do you do the backup? Where you want to do your backup? Where you want to send your backup files? There are different options. I mean, all days we were using CDs, DVDs, removable hard disk, backup, tapes, network attached storage NAS, storage area network. Now they are doing it to the cloud also, all right? But you have also to take care of security. Now we need to mention something. It's called backup rotation scheme. Grandfather, father, son, GFS. I mean, this is something maybe you will come along with your further studies. So the son backup is done daily, the father backup is done weekly, and the grandfather backup is done monthly. That's why we call it GFS. Now, how do we add the backup feature? The same thing like we added DHCP, DNS. You go to add features and services, and then you choose backup. Okay. Okay, so here it is, Windows Server backup. We will do this in the lab, by the way. and then you confirm and you continue with the installation, and that's it for this chapter. Any questions on this chapter, please? Our next chapter also is a small one. Also, it's about configuring print service. And by the way, we'll do these two labs, inshallah. There is a lab on printer, and there is printing, and there is a lab on that. Printing is long time ago. When we started the computers, we started to use the computers for printing because printing was before the computers. You know, there were magazines, there were books. Okay. And now print services is essential services. Okay, whether you are using the for home or industry or business. Okay. And every network operating system should be able to provide printing services. Every NOS, network operating system, should have support for printing, such as Windows Server 2009. What is a local printer? When you purchase a computer at home and you purchase a printer, you connect the printer to your computer, to your local computer. This is called a local printer because you are not sharing it, you are just installing it to one computer. Okay? So this is physically connected to the computer through the parallel port, printer port, or USB port, or even wireless. Okay? So it primarily serves the computer to which it's connected. However, if the printer is shared by a host computer, then it also serves other computers on them, but through the local computer. What is a network printer? So we have local printer, then we have network printer. Network printer is a dedicated printer on the computer network that provides printing services to everyone or to the network. Okay, for example, it has an IP address. You see here, this printer, this Epson is a network printer. It has an IP address. Okay, subnet mask, gateway. So this is called a network printer. Okay. Printer pooling. You can use printer pooling service to configure two or more physical printers into one logical printer. Yani I have two printers. I can give them one name, logical name, and then when you send print command, it will go to this logical name. Whichever is free for them will print. Like here, when you send a print, you can print it from here or from the library, right? So it is called a logical printer pooling. And the logical connection of printers balances their load, hence increasing their usability, and provides users with rotational printing. But these printers should be identical. Okay. Okay, you can do the printer pooling from the using this lab. You see here the option enable printer pooling. See this one here? This is the printer pooling. What is web printing? Web printing is you can print from the internet, from your browser. Okay. So the web server has to be configured, okay, to access the available printers via the web browser. Okay, and then you need to configure. This needs to be configured if you are going to use web printing. Web management, okay, you can manage print jobs. يعني manage print jobs, it means what? You want to see what is the printing options, okay? You can manage printers through the web interface like you see here. You see here, you have this printer, Epson, test page. We are managing it from the browser. You don't have to purchase a software like this to manage your printer. You are managing it from the browser. Driver deployment. When you purchase a printer, each printer has a driver. The driver will provide the interface, configure the printer on the computer. Okay? And it will allow the communication between the server and the printer. Any questions on this chapter? Any questions on this chapter? Now we will talk about, because you will need this for your project, this feature. It is called okay. It's called Bitlocker, but we will talk in general about uh, configuring file services and disk encryption. Bitlocker drive encryption (BDE) uses Computer Trusted Platform Module (TPM). Each computer, the new computers, they have a chip. It's called TPM, Trusted Platform Module. Bitlocker depends on this chip to work. Okay. If you don't have it, Bitlocker will not work. It's used to store cryptographic information such as encryption keys. And this information stored on TPM can be more secure from external software attacks and physical threats. More secure. It does not prevent 100%, but it will be more secure. Bitlocker requirements, as I mentioned, TPM. You will need also a removable USB memory, such as USB flash drive to store your password. You will need at least two partitions. A system partition, this contains the files needed to start your computer. Okay. If you are having Windows 8, it should be at least 350 mega. And an operating system partition, this contains Windows. Okay. The operating system partition is encrypted, and the system partition is unencrypted, because this is the one is used for loading. Okay. The operating system partition is encrypted and the system partition is unencrypted. And both of them must be formatted with NTFS. You will need also, you should have BIOS that supports PBM and support USB devices. Of course, all new BIOSes nowadays support USB. Bitlocker supports NTFS FAT16. Nobody uses now FAT16, FAT32, EXPAT, USB, FireWire, SATA, SCSI, and so on. However, it does not support CD, iSCSI, Fiber Channel, eSATA, or Bluetooth. Not supported. Also, it supports only basic volumes. It does not support dynamic volumes. Dynamic means the size is changing. Okay. We have 5 operational modes for OS. The top one is the most secure. Okay. TPM startup pin, startup key. This is most secure. Then we have TPM startup or TPM startup pin or startup key only or only the TPM. Okay. So the security moves from top to low. High, and this is now when you use BitLocker on fixed and removable data drives, and that they are not the operating system volume, you can use one of these: password, smart card, or automatic unlock. Okay. BitLocker also is a feature you need to install it. It's not there by default. You need to add it to the Windows set. And we will do this in the lab. It's very simple to add. You have to make sure that you have TPM. So this is the feature. It's called BitLocker Drive Encryption. So we install the BitLocker. Okay. So here it will check if you have PTM or not, TPM or not. Okay, so it will determine. See, if it's not there, it will say compatible TPM cannot be found. Okay. Now you can choose how you want to unlock this drive page when you want to unlock. Do you want to use a password or you want to use smart card? In the lab, we will use password. Okay. In our lab. To turn on BitLocker, you need first to back up your recovery key. As I mentioned, we are going in the lab, we are going to save it to a file. In real life, you will save it to a USB flash drive because you don't want to keep it on the same computer. Okay, so this is it about BitLocker. We will do this all in the lab, inshallah. Next week, this lab will be done next week. Okay, this is the control panel for BitLocker drive encryption. Okay, because it has this applet, and it will be asked very friendly. It will be asking you what to do, where you want to store your password. Okay. So, in summary, encryption is the process of converting data into a format that cannot be read by another user. Okay. The The other process, counter process, is decryption. You convert the data from encrypted to its original format. EFS, encryption file system, can encrypt files on an NTFS volume. Okay, and they cannot, after they are encrypted with EFS, they cannot be used unless the user has access to the key required to decrypt the information. To encrypt or decrypt a folder or file, you enable or disable the encryption attribute. There is the command prompt command, which is cipher.exe. It displays the encryption of folder and files on NTFS volume. All right. But for BitLocker, we are encrypting the whole volume. All right. Any questions for this chapter?